One staff can fill in. All right, we're going to go ahead and call to order the regular meeting of the Oakdale City Council, May 14th, 2024. Sarah, will you take the roll?
Councilmember Herr.
Here.
Councilmember Ingebrigtsen. Councilmember Morcom.
Here.
Councilmember Willenbring.
Here.
Mayor Zabel.
Here. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First up on our agenda is the approval of the agenda. In front of no amendments. I love it. Nice job, team. So can I get a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any conversation? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the agenda is adopted. Next up, we'll take the approval of the minutes. We have two sets in front of us tonight. First up, workshop meeting minutes from April 23rd, 2024. Council members, any changes or corrections? I'll look for motion.
So move.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the workshop meeting minutes are approved. Next up, we have regular meeting minutes from April 23rd, 2024. Council members, any changes or corrections? I'll look for motion.
So moved.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any conversation? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the regular meeting minutes are approved as well. We have one public hearing on the agenda tonight, the annual Stormwater Pollution Prevention Plan. Mr. Bachmeyer, I know this is your favorite presentation to give. Come on down.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Two purposes tonight. One is to give you an update on our stormwater pollution prevention program, and the second is to conduct a public hearing to give the public an opportunity to present any concerns they have regarding the surface waters in the city of Oakdale to the council. In regards to our stormwater pollution prevention program, there's only two items I was going to comment on. We've completed a lot of the items. However, there are still two things that we need to finish. One is kind of updating our policy as it relates to erosion control practices. So we're very close to completing those items. And the second item is working on the inspection of the illicit discharge inspections that we need to do in our community. We've developed the map. We just need to develop the routine to do those inspections. With that, I stand for any questions that council may have.
Council members, any questions for Brian? All right. Jim, I do have to have a traditional public hearing for this, right?
You have to open it up and.
Open and close?
Open.
Okay. So at this time, we'll go ahead and open the public hearing to hear any comments from the audience. If you are joining us tonight and would like to speak on the Stormwater Pollution Prevention Plan, please feel free to step up to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and share any comments you may have. I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing. Do we have to adopt the annual report? No? Okay. For the public's benefit, I assume the annual report is on our website if they really want to read it. Perfect. I'm sure it's a light read, everybody's favorite topic, stormwater. So we'll go ahead and move on to open forum. Before we get to that, I do have a few proclamations that I would like to read. I'm going to mix these up just a little bit. First is recognizing Public Works Week. And the proclamation reads as such: whereas public works services provided in our community are an integral part of our citizens' everyday lives. And whereas the support of an understanding and informed citizenry is vital to the efficient operation of public works systems and programs such as water, sewer, streets, parks, forestry, environmental services, public buildings, and fleet services. And whereas the health, safety, and comfort of this community greatly depend on these services. And whereas the quality and effectiveness of these facilities, as well as their planning, design, and construction, are vitally dependent upon the efforts and skill of public works staff. And whereas the efficiency of the qualified and dedicated personnel who staff the Public Works Department is materially influenced by the people's attitude and understanding of the importance of the work they perform. And whereas the American Public Works Association will celebrate the 64th Annual National Public Works Week, which will be held the third week of May with the theme Advancing Quality of Life for All. Therefore, I, Kevin Zabel, Mayor of Oakdale, Minnesota, do hereby proclaim the week of May 19th to May 25th as Public Works Week in the City of Oakdale. I know I speak for the entire city council when I offer a tremendous thank you to our Public Works Department. It is truly impressive, the amount of ground, pun intended, that they cover every single day, from parks to streets to so many facets of our community that you don't see. You know, our sewer infrastructure, water infrastructure, they cover so many services that every resident and business in Oakdale needs that we don't think about or sometimes maybe even take for granted. So a big thank you to everybody that works at Public Works for everything they contribute to our city. Next is a proclamation recognizing Mental Health Awareness Month. Whereas mental health is an essential component of overall well-being, shaping our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, and influencing our ability to cope with life's challenges, build meaningful relationships, and pursue our goals and dreams. And whereas Mental Health Awareness Month provides an opportunity to raise awareness, promote understanding, and reduce stigma surrounding mental illness, encouraging open dialogue, compassion, and support for individuals living with mental health conditions and their families. And whereas mental health affects people of all ages, backgrounds, and walks of life, and addressing mental health needs is essential for fostering resilience, promoting recovery, and improving the quality of life for individuals and families. And whereas Mental Health Awareness Month highlights the importance of access to mental health care and support services, advocating for equitable access to treatment, resources, and interventions that address the diverse needs of individuals experiencing mental health challenges. And whereas Mental Health Awareness Month celebrates the resilience and strength of individuals living with mental illness, recognizing their courage, determination, and achievements in overcoming obstacles, seeking help, and embracing hope and healing. And whereas Mental Health Awareness Month serves as a call to action for individuals, communities, and policymakers to prioritize mental health and well-being, invest in prevention, early intervention, and support services, and to work together to create a more inclusive and compassionate and supportive society. Therefore, I, Kevin Zabel, Mayor of Oakdale, Minnesota, do hereby proclaim May as Mental Health Awareness Month in the City of Oakdale. Finally is a proclamation recognizing National Police Week. Whereas in 1962, President Kennedy proclaimed May 15th as National Peace Officers Memorial Day and the week in which it falls as National Police Week to pay special recognition to law enforcement officers who have lost their lives in the line of duty for the safety and protection of others. And whereas the International Association of Chiefs of Police has declared police officer safety and wellness a top priority. And the IACP Center for Officer Safety and Wellness promotes the importance of individual, agency, family, and community safety and wellness awareness. And whereas it is important that all citizens know and understand the problems, duties, and responsibilities of their police department, and that members of our police department recognize their duty to serve the people by safeguarding life and property, by protecting them against violence and disorder, and by protecting the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression and intimidation. And whereas the City of Oakdale commends the brave men and women of our law enforcement community for continually summoning the courage to fulfill their solemn oath to protect and serve. And whereas the City of Oakdale also takes pause to remember those men and women of our law enforcement community who have lost their lives and have suffered permanent disabilities defending their communities. And whereas the City of Oakdale honors Burnsville police officers Matthew Ruge and Paul Elmstrand for their ultimate sacrifice given on February 18th, 2024. Therefore, I, Kevin Zabel, Mayor of Oakdale, Minnesota, do hereby proclaim May 12th through the 18th as National Police Week to commemorate police officers past and present who, by their faithful and loyal devotion to their responsibilities, have rendered a dedicated service to their communities, and in doing so have established them for themselves an enduring reputation for preserving the rights and security of all Oakdale residents. I wanted to save that one for last because I think it's a really tough time for our police officers. You know, when we hear statistics about the number of safety incidents or attacks on police officers, I think we sometimes gloss over it too quickly. You know, our police chief, Newton, gave a presentation at the last Oakdale Chamber of Commerce meeting about safety in our community. And, you know, while there are a lot of statistics that we can, you know, grab onto in terms of public safety, the one that should give us all pause is the number of incidents against our police officers. They're absolutely off the charts. and for a profession that leads with distinction and honor and compassion, that also at the same time is facing staffing struggles. It should be a call for all of us to stop and pause and say, you know what, we need to do more to support our police, to support our department, and ensure that that vital lifeline is always there when people need it. So we all need to do more. And this week is a good reminder for us to live out that call. So Chief Newton, from all of us, please extend our heartfelt gratitude to your entire department for everything they do for our community. If anybody is available tomorrow, I think at noon, Chief Newton's going to be giving a great speech at the at the law enforcement memorial event at the Stillwater Courthouse. I'll be out there cheering him on. But we encourage everybody to please just take a moment. Anytime you interact with a police officer, remember how difficult their job is, and those little moments of appreciation really make a big difference for our officers. Thank you, Chief Newton. We're still under open forum, so if there's anybody in the audience that would like to step on up to the podium and share with us whatever's on your mind, the floor is open. Please feel free to do so. Begin with your name and address for the record, and then we ask comments be kept to 3 minutes or so, but please feel free.
I'll fill this out for you when I'm done. Is that okay? Good evening, Mayor and council members and staff that's here. My name is Dave Langer with Langer Real Estate Services, and I represent owners of property along Highway 36. I think the address is 6138 Highway 36, north side of 36, east side of Century. Been marketing the property for, it's my longest listing in ever. It's at 7 years, I believe, maybe almost 8 years. Lots of reasons for that, but that's not why I want to get into that today. Is more so as we had an informational meeting with city staff, Andrew and Luke, and then the state this past week. And it was to say, what's happening? What's going on here? Because our big issue is I can't tell a buyer how they access the property because this looming project has been there for I don't know how many years. Well, how they're going to restructure all this. But nonetheless, had a meeting about it, and they said, hey, yeah, we have concepts, we have ideas, as well as the city has done some studies and those things too. And we're working on final plans. Then we got to work on getting final funding. Then we got to get final design. And then we have to get it priced and then get it built. So I said, okay, I need to tell my owners who have owned this property for a very long time, and they're all up in age. I said, I need to have an idea. And they said, well, I want to say 7 years plus or minus 2 years before we're going to have that intersection taken care of. So that might be news to you. You might know that. I don't know. But they're saying by the time we get that figured out, it'll be 7 years. And reality is for us is this land up there is not usable to anybody. I can't get anybody to buy it unless it was mini storage, which has been poo-pooed by the city several years ago, but I could have sold it 4 or 5 times for mini storage. But nonetheless, that's our issue, is that we need to wait to figure this out. So time out on that. So then we have a gentleman with high adult daycare out of St. Paul. And he is very interested in being able to have a community garden there. And this is, we're thinking this is a short-term use because you may know we had a homeless encampment there over the last couple of years. We did the best we could. City staff helped out. We got the county involved to help address those issues. So it's not going to go away. And I know my time is just about up, but nonetheless, we're trying to say, can we find a way to have this interim use, which can be renewed every year or two, but we know that we can't do anything with this property, more than likely for 7 years, plus or minus a couple of years. We're trying to figure out something productive that they'll help keep the lawn mowed, keep it clean, make it look good, and deter or discourage a homeless encampment on the property. And as my out-of-community owners stand, they can't look at it every day. And even city staff can't see it every day because it's up on the fringe of the community. So the quick question, so I can stop for you, is that if there's any consideration that staff can make to allow an interim use for the short term of this property to be used for a community garden, maybe a farmer's market down the road, something like that, I think that Tao with high adult daycare would love to talk more with city staff or council about it later. He's here today, probably still in the back room, but they're here today as well. So I'll leave it at that as my comment, and you can proceed with the evening.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Is there anybody else that would like to join us for open forum tonight? Welcome.
Hello, my name is Luke Ledoux. I live at 7057 28th Street North, and I want to talk about some animal laws here, how it's been limited about the amount of chickens that you can have. And I feel like if you have a big enough area, a good coop and stuff, you should be able to keep more chickens. And another thing is I have a little 50cc dirt bike, and I want to be able to ride it like down the sidewalk to go like grocery shopping for my mom, who can't drive a lot of the times. Or I can go up and get food for my little brother or stuff like that, and I want that to be legal. That's all.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to speak under open forum tonight? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and keep things moving and move into our consensus motions. We have A through I in front of us tonight. Are there any that council members would like to pull for individual consideration? I will look for a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve consensus motion A through I as presented.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And those motions are approved. Next up is our opportunity to check in with our advisory boards and commissions. Planning was the only one that met, and Councilmember Ingebrigtsen isn't with us tonight. So we will just carry over his update to our next meeting, and he can apprise us of their developments then. No award of bids tonight, so we'll move into staff reports. Check in with our city attorney. Jim, anything
Mr.
for
Mayor,
us tonight?
members of council, nothing specific to report tonight, but happy to answer any questions.
Council members, any questions for Jim? All right, and turn to our right. Let's check in with our city administrator, Ms. Volkers.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. 2 items on the agenda tonight. We have a donation from a local artist who does a Discovery Arts Center event, and she has donated 10% or $120 of her earnings from her sales of her art, and she would like to just simply donate that to the city in appreciation for allowing or having that event and for the encouragement and support that she's received from the recreation staff. So that's the first thing in front of you, and I look for a motion to approve that donation.
All righty, council members, any questions for Chris? Look for motion.
Make a motion to waive reading and adopt resolution 2024-42, accepting a donation from Beth Myers in the amount of $120.
There's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, any final comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that donation is graciously accepted. Thank you, Beth.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Myers. Okay, second thing I have on the agenda is a master service agreement with, for professional engineering services with Bolton Menk for our consulting engineer to, I'm stuttering, to step into the vacancy that we have for city engineer. Brian has worked for the city for 34 years. He left a couple of years ago. He works for Bolton Menk. He's willing and able, and we are thrilled to have him step in during this time of vacancy. We don't expect to fill the position for a little while. The agreement is retroactive to April 1st, mostly because we're working on a master service agreement, which we've been striving to do for years. And so we got that done. And what that does is allow for all possible needs, but with task orders and all the legalities that go with it. So we got that done. And that's what's before you tonight as a recommendation to approve that master service agreement.
Council members, any questions for Chris? I just got one. Do we know anything about this guy, Brian?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do we trust him?
34 years, I think so.
Is he trustworthy? Is he going to fit in?
And he'll do a great job.
All right, council members, can I get a motion?
Absolutely. I'll make a motion to authorize the mayor and city administrator to sign the master service agreement for professional engineering services between Bolton and Menk, Inc. and the City of Oakdale, retroactive to April 1st, 2024, which is the date the city engineer position was vacated, and to authorize the city administrator to approve task orders under the master services agreement.
There's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, final comments. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that agreement is approved.
Thank you.
Next up is council presentations. Let's start over here. Councilmember Morcom, do you have anything?
Nothing tonight.
All right, how about over here?
Nothing for me.
Nothing. All right. I got a few that staff would like me to cover. So registration is now open for early summer programming through the Oakdale Recreation Department. There are some great programs this summer. We encourage you to check out the full list of programs being offered on our website, oakdalefun.com. We also have a new registration process this year. I've used it, signed somebody up for the Summerfest 5K. So it's real slick, real easy to use. We encourage you to check it out. Our Oakdale, I'm pulling a Chris, I'm mixing up words. Our summer 2024 Oakdale Update newsletter should arrive in mailboxes this week, so we hope you check it out. This edition includes construction updates, seasonal reminders, a summary of recreation programming, the schedule of events for Oakdale Summerfest, which is coming up very, very quickly, and much more, so we hope you check that out. Speaking of Summerfest, our Cornerstone Community Celebration is just 6 weeks away. So we ask you to mark your calendars for June 24th through the 29th for a lot of events. They have a lot going on this year, including the Ted Birth Grand Parade, free concerts at the Band Shell every night, the Nature Preserve 5K, food trucks, fireworks. One thing I will note for Summerfest is a big area of focus for the group behind Summerfest this year was adding more programming for kids. That was their top priority this year, and so they have packed out the schedule with activities and offerings for kids of all ages. Giant inflatables, petting zoo, kids band. The fire department has graciously agreed to host a pop-up splash pad during Summerfest. There's so much going on. So bring the kids out, have some fun, stay for the music. It's Oakdale's 50th anniversary this year, so there's gonna be some awesome fireworks going on. It'll be a good time. But we do want to call out the date change this year and probably permanently going forward, it being the last weekend of June going forward. So full schedule can be found on the Summerfest website, oakdalesummerfest.com. Let's pay the bills. We have claims roster in front of us, April 24th through May 14th, in the amount of $1.7 million and change. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the claims roster for the period April 24, 2024 to May 14, 2024 in the amount of $1,715,079.58.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the claims are approved as presented. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
There's a motion. Everybody.
I'll second.
There's motion, second and a third, I hear in there. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you and good night.